Hello, everyone, and welcome to our November store release, What's New for Workplace Service Delivery. And as we start, I'd love to introduce our host today. So I'm Claire. I'm an outbound product manager for Workplace Service Delivery. And with me today, I have Elizabeth, who's also on our outbound product management team for Workplace Service Delivery. So we will be your host today. We're very excited to have you here, and thank you for joining our session. Before I start, I'd like to cover our safe harbor statement. Essentially, what we're covering today is our updates for our November release, but if we do cover anything future forward, like roadmap questions, we are going to cover our safe harbor to say we can change that as we get closer to the actual release. And please make sure you join us for future webinars and meetups. So we do host our Live on ServiceNow interactive event series. And if you take a look at this QR code, and a link will be shared in today's chat, please join us for future webinars for other products that are on ServiceNow, as well as other workplace service delivery webinars. And just some housekeeping, if you're new to our sessions today, please stay on mute. If you do have a question, there will be time for a Q&A after our presentation, but if you do have a question as we're going through, please make sure you use the Q&A feature. There is a chat feature, and then the Q&A feature, just make sure you put it in the Q&A so we can answer those questions accordingly. And feel free to introduce yourself when you're asking a question. We love to know who you are, what company you're from. And this session will be recorded and shared on the ServiceNow community forum. So if you miss something, you need to step away, or you want to watch it or share it with one of your coworkers, the session will be on our community forum. And then after the session, you'll be prompted to fill out a survey. We love to see your feedback. Where can we improve and how we can enhance our session. We do these webinar sessions for our releases quarterly, so 4 times a year, and we love to know where we can improve. So today's agenda and what we'll be covering for our November release, we'll first go into a high level of what's new in November, so you know what's to come. The content is live on ServiceNow Store right now, so you do have the ability to put this into your instances, but what have we released for you all? We'll then see a demo and an in-depth explanation of Event Planner, workplace entities. We'll then go through all of the minor enhancements that we've released. And then at the end, we again have that Q&A where you can answer or ask us any questions that you might have. And we'll cover some of those questions that you put in the chat as we go through our presentation. So what is new in November? First, in November, we have our workplace event planner, and this is enhancing on our reservation capability, and it provides our workplace teams with a visual overview of how spaces are being used, and allows them to optimize or schedule reservations quickly. So this is for reservations, for events, if you want to have multiple reservations, move those around, and the optimization of that. Elizabeth is going to show us a really excellent demo of what that looks like. We then released workplace entities, and this is now the ability to associate a business hierarchy entity with the space to enable space consumption logic based on space entity association. So being able to track workplace entities within your organization. For minor enhancements, we have quite a bit, and I'll go through those later in a few slides. But what we've released is multi-day reservations. So now instead of making one reservation per day, you can have one reservation spanning multiple days. We have neighborhood-focused employee assignments, updates to workplace connectors, updates to indoor mapping, enhancements on the workplace profile, new user analytics, and some next experience dashboards. So lots to cover in our minor enhancements, and we'll go through that a little bit more in depth later. Now I'd love to turn it over to Elizabeth, who's going to demo our workplace event planner.
Thank you very much, Claire. I'll just go ahead and share my screen. So I'll just start off with a couple of slides and then go into detail of the actual in an instance and show you how this feature actually looks like. So as Claire was mentioning, the Workplace Event Planner is a brand new enhancement we've made to the reservation module. So this is accessed by having both the Workplace Central and Workplace Reservation Management plugins installed. And the idea behind this is not only showing a list of all reservations in your organization, but giving that reservation admin an actual view, a calendar view by location, by space type, what is going on. So they can see all the different reservations that have been planned by employees and just get this general view of all the reservations. And then with this seamless drag and drop option that we've added to this calendar, they can simply drag and drop the reservation to make adjustment. Perhaps it's because one room needs to be allocated to a senior vice president, but right now it's reserved for an employee for a small team meeting. Perhaps they want to relocate them. They want to put them in a different room so that they can have that room back and be able to use it for that bigger meeting. They can make adjustments by simply dragging and dropping those different reservations. So what I'm going to do right now is just go into an instance and show you exactly how this view looks for the reservation admin. So just some background on this. So as I mentioned, this feature is accessed via the Workplace Central, which is available through Workspaces. Once I'm on Workplace Central, I'm going to get this general view. So this was previously released new plugin, so Workplace Central. And from here, this is kind of the location for the facility manager, the reservation admin, the space planner. They will get all the insights here. But what part is interesting here is the new widget that's been added down here, so the event planner. And what I'm going to see here once I log into it is I'm going to see a whole view of all the reservations that are happening within my facility. It could be reservations, could be events. I know different organizations have different ways of naming these events. So this is where they'll be able to see all of it. They'll get the general view. So first of all, they'll be able to see the reservations that are planned for the day. They'll be able to see here the reservations that have extra services assigned to them, the amount of reservations that have been cancelled, but also the amount of reservations that are pending approval. And perhaps by looking at that number, they may think, we have to make some adjustments. If some of those pending approval are happening today, maybe if they've not been approved yet, we'll perhaps have to reach out to the employee and say, you can't have that meeting because it has not been approved. So we recommend moving it to a different day or a different location. We also have down here the full list of all reservations. So this is kind of the view that was previously available in WSD. So a general view in list form of all the reservations taking place. So what we're adding here is the calendar schedule. So having really this view, which is going to enable the reservation admin to not only just see all the reservations in a list form, but they'll be able to see specifically how this looks within their workplace. So just to go over a quick description of this page, we have here the campus, which is selected. This is mandatory, so you'll have to select any campus. You can then select one building or multiple buildings, and then either one floor or multiple floors. Given this flexibility to be able to select multiple buildings and floors within one same campus, also enables the reservation admin to actually drag and drop a reservation from one floor to another floor or from one building to another building. They have that flexibility of adjusting. We also see here the time zone in which that campus is selected, so that we can actually look at the view and know exactly the reservation is actually made according to the time zone of that campus. From here, we've also given the possibility to not only view the calendar every 30 minutes, so we can see here I have a 30-minute view over time of my actual reservations. I can also decide to have the hour view or the week view. So going to the week view, it's going to give me a whole picture of the actual week and the amount of reservations that have been created for that week. And this has been added, and Claire will mention it later on, because we also have a new feature of multi-day reservations. So it's just, oops. I'll just go back to the view since it's taken a while to load. I think I have quite a few reservations that are actually being made. I'll just close that. If not, I'll come into this one. Go back to the workplace. Go back to my event planner. So it's just going to take some time to load the actual data. But so we've come back here to the 30-minute view, but I could also go to the week, but it takes a while a couple of seconds to load actually, because I have quite a few reservations throughout my campus on multiple days. So I can see actually a holistic view of all my reservations. I also have the possibility here of filtering based on a different space, or if I'm looking for a specific colleague, I can just write in the name of the colleague and it will show me the reservation that's been created by them or for them. I can see here that I'm looking at specifically meeting rooms, but I can also decide to look at desk reservation or any other type of reservations based on the space type of the room which has been booked. So here I can see I have multiple reservations. I have different colors. These colors are going to help the reservation admin understand the status of each reservation. By using the small help button on the side, I can actually see the different meaning to the different colors. So I have some that are waiting approval. I have some meetings that are actually confirmed, some that have been cancelled, and some that have been actually completed. So I can get as a high level view of the status of each of these reservations. Let's say for this specific reservation, this room needs to be occupied for a different reason. I need to create a different reservation. I'm just going to select this reservation and move it to a different day or a different time or a different location, because I know that I want to book this space for another usage. I actually want to move this meeting down here. By moving it down here, it's going to ask me yes or no, do I want to accept the changes to move the meeting that was planned in the initial room to a different location. And I can just say, yes, I want to update that reservation. It's going to take a couple of seconds to actually sync and get that reservation changed to the different location. So here, this reservation is now going to be occurring in the Coronado room instead of being in the Aspire room. So I can just simply change these reservations through the drag and drop. I also have the possibility of actually clicking on a reservation and getting additional details to that specific reservation. So I can see in which location it's been booked. I can see who it's been, when it's going to start, when it's going to end, the total duration. Is this a reoccurring meeting? And I can see the status of it. But I can also open it up and land on the main reservation page to be able to make edits. Maybe I want to add extra services. So from there, I can open that general reservation page to be able to make those changes. From this view, the reservation admin also has the possibility of creating a new reservation just by selecting the create new reservation on the top right. And this, again, it's going to open up that main portal of making a reservation. So just like the employee has this view of being able to create a new reservation, they're also going to have the view to be able to define the reservation and add extra services if needed. So from here, all the changes can be done and then saved. And once all of that is done, it's going to then upload to the time and date which has been set. So that's a brief overview of what we've done for the new workplace event planner. I'm now going to go ahead and move on to the workplace entities. So just going back to my slides. Let's go back to the slides here. So workplace entities, as Claire was mentioning, this is a new feature which is going to provide organizations with more flexibility. So being able to actually define the hierarchy that an organization wants to have. Right now, we have the possibility of adding to a specific space, defining the department, the cost center, and the allocation. We're adding this new type of workplace entities as a new allocation. And so the idea behind this is that we know that all organizations have their own way of identifying an allocation. So with this, we start off by defining actually workplace entity types. So we can define a large amount of entity types. I know that by default, we have set 15 different entity types. I'll go into an instance shortly and show you how this can be configured and how we can view the different entities. But we can also use this information to either track the consumption of a space. So if we allow employees to be able to make a reservation, from those reservations, we can then get the data of what entity are they actually assigned to, so be able to track the consumption of the spaces that they're reserving to actually understand how that space is being used. And we also have the possibility within the space management, so within the map-based administration, to be able to view on the map specifically how those workplace entities have been laid out. So I'll now just go into an instance and show you how this can be configured and how these entities actually work. So going into an instance, I'm first going to start off by showing you how the workplace entities are configured. So workplace entities has been added as part of Workplace Core. So as a reminder, Workplace Core in our August release, this is the renaming of Workplace Safety Management. So workplace entities, the first thing that will have to be configured are the workplace entity types. So the types, as I mentioned, we can have up to 15 different types. More can be added if needed, but we believe that 15 should be sufficient. And these types are going to be the foundations to the hierarchy. So in the example I'll be showing you today is that we've configured up to 6 different levels. So we go from the top one, being the global organization, and then going down the different levels. So we have global, we then have regional, market unit, business unit, cost center, and projects. So meaning that I can define that within my organization, I have different spaces. I have a space that belongs to the business unit. I want to leave it at that level, but that means they're also part of the market unit and different regions. But from there, I can also say that within this business unit, we then also specify that we have 50 spaces within that business unit that we also split into different projects. So we might have 3 different projects within the business unit. So kind of putting together that specific hierarchy of the organization. So yes, as I mentioned, we're going to start off by configuring our entity types. We'll then go ahead and configure the different entities as part of it. So as part of the business unit, we can have the product management side, we can have the engineering team, we can have another business unit that could be the sales, another unit which could be the marketing team. We can define all the different entity types that we have within the organization. Once all of that is configured, I'm going to go back into Workplace Central to actually show you how I can visualize. So the first step being that within Workplace Analytics, so this dashboard, which shows us kind of the data behind reservation. Today, we can filter based on cost center and department. With November, we've added also the possibility of filtering by workplace entity. So I can see based on what I've defined within my workplace entities, I can see the consumption of those spaces based on the data that's coming from the reservation. We also have this feature which has been added into the space optimization. So at a building level, stat plan level, I can see how my spaces have been assigned to different entities. So for that, I'm just going to go into a building. This view might be familiar. It's going to give me the stat plan view, and then we'll move on to the floor plan to actually view how they are assigned. So to start off, I'm going to look at the settings on my stat plan. Right now, they're filtered by department. What I'm going to do is select the workplace entity. And that's going to give me the layout of how my spaces are assigned. Right now, I'm looking at all levels. However, I can drill down into the different entity types that I've set. So kind of different levels that I have within my entity hierarchy. So let's say I want to look at my business unit. So looking at my business units, I'm just going to go back to the main detail page. Right now, I can see this is the layout of my building A. The different entities have been assigned, spaces are allocated to different entities, and I can see how this is shown today. I can see that here on floor 7, I have entities. It shows other not meaning that they haven't been assigned down to the business unit. They are assigned at high level. So if we go back to remembering what I have set as my entity types, we have global, we have we have the different levels of global, corporate, market units, and then business units. This means we haven't come down to the level of the business units. However, they are assigned to a high level. So in my business units, I can see here I have 2 different business units that have been configured. I have the sales and marketing, and I have information technology. So let's say I want to look into floor 2, into floor 5, at the sales and marketing department, the workplace entity. Sorry. So I want to drill down, actually. They have been defined to the business unit sales and marketing. However, I can see here I have a small icon which I can click on, and it can actually show me if they have been assigned to even lower levels. So here it's giving me the breakdown to the business unit level. I have my first level, which is corporate, then it's assigned to North America, then technology, and then sales and marketing. But from here, I can also see the lower levels. So within my sales and marketing, I've also got the level 5, and if I click on it another time, I can see that within the following levels, they're also assigned to the lowest level, which is the projects. So out of these 174 spaces, 62 of them are assigned to a specific project, and then 73 are assigned to a different project. And I can go down and I can see that they're also assigned to other entities. So I can really drill down and see exactly to what level of my workplace entity they have been assigned, providing me with a global view of the different levels that I have configured. So today, when I look at this stack plan, I can see either by department, by cost center, by neighborhood, but also being able to see and view how I've assigned my spaces based on my organization's custom business hierarchy. So having said that was the stack plan, I can also just go ahead and select the map view, just to give you an overview of the fact that we can see those same colors and actually see on a floor plan the different layout. So I can see my orange spaces that are the sales and marketing, and then I can see the other ones that are assigned to a high level. So that was a brief overview to the workplace entities. I'll now hand it back over to Claire for the minor enhancements.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and sharing my screen. Okay, so for minor enhancements, we had quite a bit. The first one being the ability to make multi-day reservations. So we did this to allow users to create a single reservation spanning over multiple days, rather than doing one reservation per day. If you wanted to come in Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, users now have the ability to create that one reservation per day. We also have the ability, if this duration exceeds the max, a warning will appear at the top for that user to then adjust. Our next minor enhancement is neighborhood-focused employee assignments, and this is a visual way for space planners to make those changes to neighborhood assignments and how it works. If you go and you select a building in the stack plan to view neighborhoods, you can then select neighborhood and edit the user assignment to that neighborhood. So the ability to assign those employees to those neighborhoods that you're setting up in your neighborhood information. Our next update is with Workplace Connectors, and this provides real-time integrations on badge data. So we did this to allow our customers the ability to have a framework that's going to provide more precise data to facility managers on that badging information. So you would integrate in your badge information or your badging provider to get that badge information, and then you'll be able to see your amount of badging and your employees coming into the office. Our next update is with indoor mapping, and this is to compute floor size from CAD files. And with this, it provides key information to your facility managers and your workplace teams to better understand floor measurements. So we added this to allow customers such as yourselves to retrieve accurate values from the CAD files. And the system is going to capture that value from the largest closed polyline in the CAD, and it will populate the value in the floor record during that sync. So we have some steps to activate it, and if you have any questions, please reach out to us on that. Our next enhancement is with the workplace profile enhancements, and this allows the ability to view all permanent assignments in one location. So we consolidated the workplace profile location assignments in one related list. So if we look at this employee, Carrie, she is a user within our workplace service delivery. And we will be able to see that her employee, that workplace entity information, as well as all of her location assignments. How this works is the system admin is going to define that primary location, and it will be used to auto-populate those configured fields. So you do need to have that system admin role, but all of the workplace profile information will be on one area. Our next update is with our next experience dashboards, and there are no new capabilities here. It is just a migration of the following dashboards. So we have a couple of dashboards here that we're moving to the next experience, and those analytics are going to appear within Workplace Central. And so you'll be able to see them in this new view. And so the dashboards here are the reservation dashboard, our synchronization health dashboard, visitor reception, workplace case, and workplace manager. So just expanding on the different reports and dashboards that you'll be able to see within Workplace Central. Our next update is user analytics, and this is going to give you a better understanding of user navigation and the use of applications. So you may be familiar with this in other ServiceNow applications like Employee Center, Pro. This is very similar to that. It's going to give you an understanding of the user experience. So we can see here the unique users within Employee Center. Are people using the mobile app? Where are people navigating to? How long is their average session, the amount of sessions, and it's going to help you understand the various services as well as the user experience for as you're creating your employee experience. And then our next update is the removal of cost center and department as an allocation type. So you can see here at the top that we now have cost center, department, and workplace entity as our three types. We just removed the cost center because we got that feedback from our customers. We're always taking our customer feedback that it was confusing to have a combined cost center and department. So we're just removing it, keeping the option to have them separately. And then there's no changes outside of that other than having that workplace entity, which Elizabeth went into great detail on what that entitles. And that is all for our minor enhancements for our November release. If you would like to learn even more or go a little bit in depth or have, if you're want to read a little bit more about this, on our community page, Elizabeth and our team builds out a really great blog with all of the details of what's in our November release. And so we have this link here, and that's available on our community page. So please feel free to check that out. And that's everything we have prepared for our presentation today and for our webinar. If you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat. And thank you for joining this webinar. And thank you for Elizabeth for presenting our two great demos today.
I don't see any questions in the chat, so I just posted the link to the recap Claire was mentioning. You'll be able to find in the chat that link to that community document where you'll be able to find exactly what we went through today and be able to read about all the detail. And if there are no questions, I think we can end here, and feel free to reach out to any of us if you have any questions or would like to have a deeper conversation of some of these items. Have a great day, everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.